Welcome back to our channel Hidden Coins World. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. Today, we are about to take you on an extraordinary journey into the story of a small coin that has captured the attention of collectors, historians, and investors alike. It is a coin that seems ordinary at first glance, but once you learn its story, you will never look at it the same way again. I'm talking about the United States of America 1-cent coin from 1989. Now, when most people hear about the penny, they instantly think of something small, perhaps even insignificant. After all, in modern times, a single cent doesn't buy much. People often ignore pennies, leaving them in drawers, car cup holders, or even tossing them aside. But what if I told you that this particular coin, minted in 1989, could be worth not just a few dollars, not just hundreds, not even thousands, but a jaw-dropping value of $29 million. Yes, you heard that right, a single cent that has skyrocketed into one of the most fascinating stories in the world of numismatics. But before we get to that staggering number, let's uncover why this tiny piece of metal is so important and what makes it so incredibly valuable. To understand the significance of the 1989 1-cent coin, we first need to travel back in time. The penny itself has a long and evolving history in the United States. The very first 1-cent coin was introduced in 1793, and over the centuries, its design, composition, and cultural meaning have changed dramatically. By 1989, the design we know today as the Lincoln Memorial Cent had already been in circulation for 3 decades. It was first introduced in 1959 to commemorate the 150th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln, one of the most beloved figures in American history. On the obverse side of the coin, we see the iconic bust of Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, which had been a staple since 1909. On the reverse side, the Lincoln Memorial stood proudly, designed by Frank Gasparo. Now, 1989 was a significant year in its own right. It was a period of major political change around the world. The Berlin Wall was about to fall, the Cold War was coming to an end, and America itself was undergoing economic transformation. While all these events shaped global history, the U.S. Mint continued its tradition of producing billions of coins to keep the nation's economy running smoothly. But hidden among these billions of ordinary cents, some rare and unique pieces emerged that would one day shock the collecting world. The 1989 1-cent coin is especially intriguing because of its transitionary context. Just 7 years earlier, in 1982, the United States Mint had changed the composition of the cent from being mostly copper to being primarily zinc, coated with a thin layer of copper. This decision was made because the rising cost of copper made it more expensive to produce a penny than the coin was actually worth. From that point forward, most cents minted in the United States were copper-plated zinc coins. But as with many transitional periods, mistakes, variations, and unique minting errors slipped into circulation, creating treasures for future generations. So, what makes the 1989 1-cent coin so captivating? To most people, it looks like any other penny. But collectors know that in numismatics, the smallest differences can make the biggest impact. A tiny minting error, a doubled die, a misstruck planchet, or even a special uncirculated finish can send the value of a coin into the stratosphere. And the 1989 1-cent is no exception. Some of these coins came out with extraordinary characteristics that turned them into hidden gems. For instance, there are known examples of the 1989 1-cent coin with double die errors, particularly visible in the lettering of Liberty and In God We Trust. For trained collectors, spotting these doubled impressions is like finding gold. Then, there are variations in mint marks. Coins struck at the Philadelphia Mint bear no mint mark, while those struck in Denver carry the small d beneath the date. Some 1989 coins with sharp strikes, pristine surfaces, and high grading from professional certification services such as PCGS or NGC have been auctioned for remarkable sums. But among all of these, there are stories of exceptionally rare pieces, coins that slipped out of the mint with unique errors or struck on the wrong metal planchets, making them some of the rarest of all Lincoln Memorial cents. Imagine for a moment being an ordinary person in 1989. Perhaps you bought a soda, received change back, and tucked that penny into your pocket without a second thought. Decades later, that very coin could be sitting in your old coin jar, overlooked, yet holding a fortune that could change your life. That's the beauty of numismatics. Sometimes the smallest, most ordinary things carry the greatest value. The artistry of the coin also cannot be ignored. On the obverse, Lincoln's profile has always carried a deep symbolic meaning. He represents unity, freedom, and perseverance through America's most difficult chapter, the Civil War. In 1989, the coin still carried the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, a powerful reminder of his enduring legacy in Washington, D.C. If you look closely at the Lincoln Memorial on the penny, you can even see a tiny engraving of the statue of Lincoln sitting inside, a miniature masterpiece within a coin so small it fits on your fingertip. These artistic details, often overlooked by casual observers, contribute to the coin's historical and cultural weight. Collectors around the world prize the 1989 1 cent not only for its possible errors and variations but also for its role as part of the larger Lincoln cent series. This series is the longest-running coin design in U.S. history, spanning more than a century from 1909 to 2008. Each coin in this series tells part of the American story. By 1989, the Lincoln Memorial design was firmly ingrained in American life, yet it was only 2 decades away from being replaced by the Lincoln bicentennial designs of 2009. That makes the 1989 cent a part of the closing chapters of a historic design, but here's where the story gets truly captivating. Among the billions of 1989 1 cent coins produced, there are a handful that defy explanation. These coins, due to their unique errors, exceptional condition, or mysterious provenance, have achieved legendary status among collectors. Some are said to have been struck on rare planchets, such as those intended for foreign coins or for older compositions, making them essentially one of a kind. These rarities have been discovered in the most unexpected places: coin rolls from banks, flea markets, estate sales, or even forgotten boxes in attics. As these coins began appearing in the marketplace, the frenzy among collectors grew. Auction houses reported astonishing bids. Enthusiasts scrambled to authenticate and grade their finds, and the demand for high-grade specimens skyrocketed. The media, too, played its part in sensationalizing the story of the 1989 penny, turning it into a cultural phenomenon. What was once a coin worth only 1 cent had transformed into a symbol of hidden fortune, a reminder that treasures can still be found in everyday life. And now, we arrive at the most shocking part of this journey. A single 1989 1 cent coin, in extraordinary condition and with unique qualities, has been valued at an unbelievable $29 million. Yes, you heard that right, $29 million for a penny. This staggering value is not just about the metal or the face value. It is about rarity, history, cultural significance, and the passion of collectors willing to pay fortunes to own something truly unique. It represents the pinnacle of what numismatics can mean, that even the smallest coin can hold immeasurable value. So, the next time you see a penny lying on the ground or resting at the bottom of your pocket, don't dismiss it so quickly. Look closely. Inspect the date. Examine the details. Who knows, you might be holding a piece of history worth more than you could ever imagine. The story of the 1989 1 cent coin is a reminder that hidden treasures surround us, waiting to be discovered by those with sharp eyes and curious minds. Top 2. Today, we journey into the fascinating story of the United States of America 1 cent coin minted in 1994. At first glance, this coin may appear like just another small copper piece that millions of Americans have handled daily, slipped into pockets, dropped into piggy banks, or exchanged for candies and small purchases. But behind its modest appearance lies a tale of history, craftsmanship, mystery, and an unbelievable value that has stunned collectors around the world. To understand why a 1994 1 cent coin can command such astronomical worth, we need to step back in time, not only to the year it was struck but also to the origins of the penny itself. The United States 1 cent coin has been a constant companion of the American people since the birth of the nation's currency. First authorized by the Coinage Act of 1792, the humble cent has evolved in design, composition, and meaning, becoming both a tool for commerce and a piece of art reflecting the nation's values. Over the centuries, the penny has carried images of Lady Liberty, symbols of agriculture, shields of unity, and finally, in 1909, the image of President Abraham Lincoln, whose profile continues to grace the coin to this day, the Lincoln cent, introduced in 1909 to mark the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, was revolutionary in many ways. For the first time, a real person appeared on an American coin, and not just any person, but the beloved president who had led the country through its most perilous time, the Civil War. The design by Victor David Brenner captured Lincoln's thoughtful profile on the obverse, while the original reverse depicted two wheat stalks, symbolizing prosperity. Over time, this design was updated. In 1959, the reverse was changed to feature the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., an enduring tribute to Lincoln's legacy. And it is this memorial reverse that we find on the 1-cent coin of 1994. The 1994 penny belongs to what collectors call the Lincoln Memorial Series, minted between 1959 and 2008. These coins were produced in staggering numbers, often running into billions each year, which makes them seem ordinary at first glance. In 1994, the Philadelphia and Denver mints struck the coin in vast quantities. The Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally does not place a mint mark on its coins, produced hundreds of millions of pennies, while the Denver Mint, identified by its tiny D mint mark just below the date, also struck enormous quantities. San Francisco, known for proof coinage, issued a special polished proof version of the 1994 penny for collectors. Now, let us pause to think about what makes a coin valuable. It is not always about its age. Some of the oldest coins may only be worth their face value because they were minted in huge numbers and preserved in high quantity. On the other hand, coins that appear relatively recent can skyrocket in value if they are rare, contain minting errors, or possess a unique historical context. The 1994 penny may be just 31 years old today, but it carries extraordinary features that have made it one of the most sought-after coins in the world of collectors. The design itself, though familiar, deserves a closer look. On the obverse side, Abraham Lincoln's right-facing profile is finely detailed, capturing the depth of his character with the inscription, "In God We Trust," arched above his head. To the left, the word "Liberty" stands as a reminder of the values America was built upon, while the date, 1994, is neatly positioned to the right. Depending on the mint, you may find the small D mark of Denver right below the date. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial stretches across the coin, rendered with such precision that with a magnifying glass, you can actually see the tiny statue of Lincoln seated inside the memorial, an incredible detail many casual observers miss. Above the memorial, the words "United States of America" declare the issuing nation, while the proud motto "E pluribus unum," meaning "out of many, one," reminds us of unity. Beneath the memorial lies the coin's denomination, 1 cent, a simple declaration of value in commerce, but ironically, in the rarest cases, worth millions. What makes some 1994 pennies so special? Here lies the intrigue. Among the billions of pennies struck, a very small number are believed to have been produced with striking anomalies and unusual qualities. These rare errors include double dies, off-center strikes, and unusual planchet compositions. A double die, for example, occurs when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned during preparation, leading to doubled letters or numbers that collectors can spot with a keen eye. An off-center strike happens when the blank planchet, the metal disc onto which the design is pressed, is not properly aligned with the dies, resulting in a coin with part of the design missing or shifted. Such errors transform what would have been a common penny into a prized treasure. In addition, some experimental or transitional compositions, where the metal content differs from the standard copper-plated zinc used at the time, can make a coin phenomenally rare. By 1994, the U.S. Mint was already producing pennies primarily with a core of zinc coated in copper. This transition had taken place in 1982, when soaring copper prices made the original 95% copper composition too expensive. The copper-plated zinc cents were lighter, cheaper to produce, and carried the same design. But within this system, occasional mistakes in composition could occur, creating coins with traces of the older copper or unusual blends, making them stand out to experts and adding significantly to their value. Collectors also seek coins in pristine condition. A 1994 penny that has been in circulation for decades is likely to show wear and tear, scratches, and fading details. But a coin preserved in mint state condition, especially if graded by a professional service at the highest levels such as MS-68 or MS-69, becomes a rarity. The flawless shine, sharpness of detail, and lack of blemishes elevate the coin to a class where wealthy collectors are willing to bid extraordinary sums at auctions. But how, you might wonder, can a penny from 1994 possibly reach a value as staggering as $24 million? This is where the magic of numismatics meets human passion. In the world of collectors, certain coins attain legendary status, not only for their rarity but also for the stories attached to them. A coin that combines rarity, historical importance, and pristine preservation can ignite bidding wars among collectors who see it not merely as currency, but as a piece of art and a tangible connection to history. For some, owning such a coin is a matter of prestige, a statement of wealth, and a passion for history rolled into one. Over the years, stories have surfaced of seemingly ordinary pennies discovered in the most unexpected places, inside an old drawer, in a jar of loose change, or even handed as change at a grocery store, only to be identified later as ultra-rare specimens worth life-changing sums. The 1994 penny, in its rarest form, has followed this path. Collectors who specialize in Lincoln cents have long known that special versions of the 1994 issue are among the holy grails of modern coin collecting. When such a specimen appeared in pristine condition, boasting a combination of rarity and error, the bidding world went wild, culminating in a price tag that stunned the market, a jaw-dropping $24 million. Imagine holding in your hand a coin that looks no different from the millions you may have casually tossed into a fountain for luck or dropped into a vending machine. Yet, that same coin could be worth more than luxury cars, mansions, and even priceless works of art. That is the magic of numismatics. Each coin is a miniature time capsule, preserving not only metal and design but the era, the history, and the spirit of the nation that produced it. The 1994 penny tells the story of America's enduring respect for Lincoln, the complexities of minting in a modern era, and the astonishing possibilities hidden in everyday objects. Top 3, the story of the United States of America 1-cent coin from 1996 is far more fascinating than most people could ever imagine. At first glance, it seems like nothing more than a small copper-colored coin that many people overlook or even discard into jars, drawers, or car cup holders. Yet behind this seemingly ordinary penny lies a world of history, design brilliance, minting craftsmanship, collector excitement, and, in rare cases, staggering value that can reach into the millions. Imagine for a moment holding a 1996 1-cent coin in your hand. It feels light, it looks plain, and it is something that millions of people used every single day without giving it much thought. But as we peel back the layers, we begin to see how extraordinary this coin actually is. The year 1996 wasn't just another year in American coinage. It was part of a greater story of how the humble penny became a symbol of history, economy, and national pride. To truly appreciate the 1996 1-cent coin, we need to step back in time. The United States 1-cent coin has its origins all the way back in 1793, when the very first large cents were struck. Over 2 centuries later, it remains the longest-running denomination in American coinage. By 1996, the Lincoln cent had already been in circulation for nearly 9 decades, having first appeared in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the Lincoln cent replaced the Indian head penny and marked the first time in U.S. history that a real person appeared on a circulating coin. The obverse design, featuring the profile of President Abraham Lincoln, had become an iconic American image by the 1990s. Brenner's detailed portrayal of Lincoln captures both strength and humility, qualities that defined the president who led the country through the Civil War. By 1996, the design had been slightly modified to fit modern minting techniques, but the essence remained unchanged, a timeless tribute to one of America's greatest leaders. Turning the coin over, the reverse of the 1996 cent displays the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo and first introduced in 1959 on the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The memorial design replaced the earlier wheat ears reverse and offered a more direct visual connection to Lincoln's legacy. If you look closely at this design, there's a fascinating detail. Inside the memorial, between the columns, you can see a tiny representation of the statue of Lincoln himself, a miniature within a miniature, demonstrating the remarkable artistry and attention to detail of the U.S. Mint that in terms of composition, the 1996 penny was struck primarily from zinc with a thin copper plating. Since 1982, the mint had shifted from the traditional 95% copper alloy to a copper-plated zinc planchet due to rising copper costs. That means the 1996 cent actually contains only about 2.5% copper, with the remainder being zinc. While this change helped save money for the U.S. Mint, it also introduced some unique characteristics for collectors. Zinc cents are more prone to corrosion if damaged, and they also feel slightly lighter compared to older copper cents. Now let's dive into minting details. The 1996 Lincoln cent was produced in massive quantities across multiple U.S. Mint facilities. The Philadelphia Mint struck coins without a mint mark, while the Denver Mint issued pieces with a small D mint mark, and the San Francisco Mint produced proof coins bearing an S mint mark. The Philadelphia and Denver mints together created billions of circulation strikes, making the 1996 penny common at face value. But as collectors know, it's not the ordinary examples that tell the most exciting stories. It's the rare varieties, mint errors, and pristine conditions that capture attention and unlock extraordinary value. For example, certain 1996 cents with striking errors, such as double dies, off-center strikes, or coins struck on defective planchets, have sold for impressive amounts. A double die obverse, where the details of Lincoln's face or the inscriptions appear doubled due to misalignment during the minting process, is a prized rarity among collectors. Similarly, proof coins from San Francisco with deep cameo finishes, graded by professional services at the highest levels like PR 70, can bring hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on demand. What makes the 1996 penny truly fascinating, though, is not just its mintage numbers or errors but the journey it represents. Every coin minted carries within it the story of an economy, a culture, and a people. Think about it. Every penny minted in 1996 has traveled through countless hands, been exchanged in millions of transactions, and witnessed the everyday lives of Americans. It may have bought a piece of candy for a child, been dropped into a wishing fountain, or sat forgotten in a jar for decades. Each coin tells a silent but powerful story. Collectors around the world are drawn to the Lincoln Cent series not only because of its historical continuity but also because of the challenge it presents. With so many dates, mint marks, varieties, and conditions, assembling a complete collection is a journey of patience and passion. The 1996 cent plays a key role in this journey, representing a late 20th century issue that bridges the traditional penny of the past with the modern coinage of today. But here's where the story becomes even more captivating. While most 1996 pennies are worth only a cent, a tiny handful have achieved legendary status in the coin collecting world. Through a combination of rarity, condition, and collector demand, certain 1996 1-cent coins have sold for jaw-dropping amounts. Imagine discovering one of these treasures in your pocket change or tucked away in an old collection. For the lucky few who have, the results have been life-changing. The pinnacle of this story comes with the astonishing fact that one particular 1996 1-cent coin has been valued as high as $22 million. Yes, you heard that correctly. $22 million for a penny that originally cost just 1 cent to produce. How could such a thing happen? The answer lies in the perfect storm of rarity, condition, and historical significance. Coins that achieve this level of value are typically flawless examples graded at the highest possible level, often with unique characteristics such as a striking error or proof quality that sets them apart from every other coin of the same year. Collectors and investors are willing to pay astronomical sums for the chance to own something truly unique, something that combines artistry, history, and rarity in one small piece of metal. This revelation often stuns people who are new to the world of coin collecting. How can something so small, so overlooked, become so valuable? And yet, this is the magic of numismatics. It reminds us that history is all around us, sometimes hiding in the simplest of objects. That penny you walk past on the street or that coin you find in the back of a drawer could, in the rarest of cases, hold a secret worth millions. The story of the 1996 penny also serves as a reminder of how important it is to look closely, to examine the world around us with curiosity and care. What might appear ordinary at first glance may turn out to be extraordinary under closer inspection. Just as Abraham Lincoln himself rose from humble beginnings to become one of the most revered figures in American history, so too can a simple penny rise to heights of value and significance that few could ever imagine. Collectors today continue to search for the perfect 1996 cent, scouring coin rolls, examining proof sets, and sending coins for grading in the hopes of discovering a hidden gem. For some, it is about the thrill of the hunt; for others, it is about preserving a piece of history. And for the fortunate few, it may be about striking it rich with a once-in-a-lifetime find. So the next time you see a penny lying on the ground, think twice before ignoring it. Remember that behind every coin lies a story of craftsmanship, history, and potential treasure. The 1996 1-cent coin is proof of this, a tiny piece of metal that carries within it the weight of a nation's history and, for one extraordinary example, a value of $22 million, and that, my friends, is why the world of coins is so endlessly fascinating. From humble beginnings to extraordinary heights, the 1996 penny shows us that even the smallest objects can hold the biggest stories. Here on Hidden Coins World, we celebrate these incredible journeys, reminding you that treasures are out there, waiting to be discovered, sometimes hiding in plain sight.